Citizen TV, the citizen power.
Chief Whip, the Chief Whip apparently has not been happy with a particular judgment of the Supreme Court, which was uttered by His Lordship, Mr. Justice Kote, we talked about some certificates and birth certificates and others, and he wasn't impressed. The Constitution is so good. The Constitution is crafted such that if you are not happy with the bench, the first bench, you go for review. If you didn't take the opportunity to go for review, Mr. Speaker, you sit down, you keep quiet, you don't go about talking about a particular judgment. So that is the judgment that we have, and so you should be happy with it. Mr. Speaker, the one thing that is troubling me most about decisions of the Supreme Court, and I'm wondering if there's anything they can do about it, Mr. Speaker, is that it is the highest court of the land. Mr. Speaker, in fact, I was actually going to end. Now they are annoying me, so I will not sit down. I will filibuster and keep on filibustering. I will talk to tomorrow. All right, last sentence.
However, only recently, when the president nominated these three, the president made the point that he was nominating the three to bring to the number, which in his words was a full complement of the Supreme Court. Mr. Speaker, during the vetting, I had cause to raise the issue of what the full complement of the Supreme Court is. Because as things stand now, all we know is the minimum of not less than 9. But I think in the mind of the president, the full complement is 15. But we all, through our submissions, have suggested that there's no cap. And so a full complement of the Supreme Court hasn't been determined yet. And if there's the argument that the workload is such that we should either terminate some of our cases so that they do not get to the Supreme Court, or we should appoint more, then it means that we have not yet come to what should be the full complement of the Supreme Court. And so, Mr. Speaker, I will want us to be guided by the arguments that we make today, especially as they will lead to influence decisions that will be taken in future. But I just will also share in the submission of my colleagues before me that the nominees conducted themselves well, discharged themselves before the committee meritoriously, and I join my colleagues to invite the House to approve the nominees to become members of the Supreme Court.
Mr. Speaker, I think that the omission of that is a major problem with this report. But, Mr. Speaker, vetting them, all of them showed competence in the office they are about to occupy if this House approves them. Some of them, the demeanor of two of them, I am very happy about because they showed maturity and a way that if I were to appear before them as an accused, I'll feel comfortable because they don't appear hostile in anything. And we all commended them for that, especially the Justice Richard Ajay Frimpong particularly showed a lot of demeanor, and then Justice Yao Dapo Asari as well. They showed very gentlemanly demeanor during their vetting. And Mr. Speaker, I have no reason to say that they are not qualified. In any case, Mr. Speaker, they are justices of the Superior Court, and nothing stops them. They've all served more than 4 years thereabout in that capacity. So, Mr. Speaker, I encourage and urge colleagues to approve these justices to serve at the Supreme Court. The only thing that we ought to do, Mr. Speaker, is to find out whether the country needs a ceiling on the number of judges, because in an answer, one of them said that the number of cases they have versus their number requires that they could even be more. I'm not a judge, but I don't have any way of ascertaining that, but I understand that there is discourse in the country as to whether we should have a ceiling to the number of Supreme Court judges. But that is an open-ended question. Nobody is able to answer. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this motion and encourage colleagues to approve these justices for appointment to the Supreme Court. And I just hope, Mr. Speaker, let me put this on record. I just hope one day, if a president also decides to appoint more Supreme Court judges, members on this side will support that. Will not say that somebody is appointing too many judges. I hope you walk the talk you speak today and support that president also. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I support the appointment of these judges. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, when asked about when Justice Justice Kofi was asked about what he would do to protect the rights of the young, or the challenges of the young generation, I thought his response was interesting, and whether he would be willing to lead reforms in the court to reflect the demands and thinking of the young generation. He stated clearly that judges do not make law. They apply the law as made by us. But however, they make recommendations to the Law Reform Commission and the lawmakers. And since society is dynamic and constantly evolving, we need to take some of these contemporary developments also into consideration when crafting our laws, so that they stand the test of time and can also move with the dynamic changes that are occurring. So I thought it was useful that the judges could also make recommendations to the Law Reform Commission and bring their attention to some contemporary developments and make contributions towards the advancement of our law. Mr. Speaker, it's also instructive that all of the nominees received the unanimous approval of the committee.
I congratulate all the three of them, particularly my classmate, Asadako. I congratulate him. Yogate, Benkumbo, mentioned the names, Joe Wise, Virginia. Those of us who congratulate them, on behalf of all of them, I congratulate him, I congratulate the others, Mr. Justice Kofi, and the rest. We congratulate all of them. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute.
Honorable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, all those in favor of the motion say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is carried, and that this House has accordingly approved His Excellency the President's nomination of Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, Justice Yao Dakon Asare, and Justice Richard Ejefrimpong.
Citizen TV, the citizen power.